Good morning. We are live on Loudmouth Radio Network. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Tuesday. It is December 17, 2019, and we are on air. If you are not tuned in, you are missing something very important, so get your life together and get on. We're on live right now. Our studio lines are open, as well as our studio access online. So we have our links. So if you're not able to call in to 347-826-7520, you can join in with us right online. We're live right now. You can go to loudmouthradio.com. Find us on here. Love ya. Today's special show, T.E.A, the Entrepreneur Academy, is always a special treat for all of us to tune in because we have some amazing guests, some amazing entrepreneurs around the world who are sharing their story, their vision, their goals, and all the great things that they're doing in their communities. So what I would love to do is to make sure you know how to connect to us. If you have not had an opportunity, you must be able to find us and follow us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're also on Instagram. And we are also available directly at Loudmouth Radio Network on all of your favorite apps, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher Radio. If you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, whatever you got, whether it's a tablet, you're in your car, go to Stitcher. We're available to you, accessible 24/7. And we're so blessed. We're actually at the cusp of 2019. I don't know about anybody else. Christmas is less than, oh, no, it is a week away now because today is the 17th. We got a week and a day, right? I don't know about you guys, but it felt like Christmas was coming so fast. Thanksgiving came. And then it just seems like the last 2 weeks have just been sluggish, like Christmas. They say, you know what, I'm going to take 2 steps back and let y'all come chase me. That's what it feels like at this point. But I'm so grateful because it is the season of giving and time with reflection. So hopefully, if you do not have family, you connect to someone in the community, a friend, a neighbor. There's various organizations around the world that are always trying to step up and do and give. And so we definitely commend and appreciate any and everyone's efforts to make their communities greater. So what I would like to do, I'm going to recognize our media partners as always, and I'm sure you'll hear more about them through the course of the day, but this show is actually sponsored by Solid Rock Solutions Group of Atlanta, where they are the king of providing 24/7 dispatch services, transportation, full management of your transportation company. So if you're looking to start a transportation company, if you have freight, logistic things that you want to start, support, or grow, connect with Solid Rock Solutions Group, and they're available at 404-642-0555, as well as our other media partners you'll hear during the course of the program. But so I would like to go into our beautiful background of our special guest today, Mr. Leroy Francis, the finance guru of World System Builders. Leroy Francis has served his community for over 30 years in several different capacities. A serial entrepreneur, Leroy has owned quite a few businesses, from selling insurance in his native country of Jamaica. He's also been able to do that for New York Life for over 20 years in New York. He's worked as a former blinds contractor for over 20 years in the Atlanta metro area. And I'm sure if you really, really need him, he can hook you up. Leroy was recently introduced to an intricate part of finance by way of WSB, best known as World Financial Group, a financial wealth education platform geared to help the community to understand how money works and how money can work for them. Leroy is a father of two, a grandfather of one, and has a significant love to help people. With all this experience, it has helped him to appreciate the importance of understanding the financial space. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Leroy Francis. Good morning. Welcome to Loudmouth Radio.
Hey, good morning to you too, young lady. How are you?
I'm even better now that I hear your voice. It is so pleasant to hear you, Leroy. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well, and so excited to share, a few concepts, with your listeners, and just tell them what we do at WFG and WSB. You hear me using those two different words. World Financial Group, as you eloquently explained, that has this,
yes.
Immense platform that helps people financially. And WSB is the engine that moves it, It's
Say it
the
again.
engine.
Say it again, Leroy. It's the engine. Can I tell you, I've never been so excited to hear somebody's voice this morning. I have missed talking to Leroy. He sounds so eloquently as he expresses his different aspects of what he's doing. And as we talk, Leroy, I know that people are going to hear the same thing, and they'll find the same resolve that I do of your commitment to this sector and just how much your education, your experience, and your commitment exudes in this conversation today. So I know you heard me talking about you prior to me bringing you on live. Did I leave anything out? I want to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about who you are from a background sector before we really dive into the nitty-gritty of this.
My bio that you read here pretty much describe what I do. I've just been an advocate for the community for many years. I certainly love people,
yes.
and I want to see people do well in different aspects of their life. And whatever contribution I can make, I always extend myself to do that. I'm a people person. Yes, I'm a people person. And now I recently found a vehicle that I can even help more, in an area that has been neglected for centuries. So, I'm very excited about sharing a few concepts on finances.
And you should. Yes, and so you should. I believe that there's many people around the world that have questions based upon our discussion, and people want to know how a lot of this stuff works, but they may be intimidated. They may not have someone that they feel is trustworthy that understands enough to be able to guide them or share the information. But you're able to do so, and I'm so grateful that this platform is here today and we have you on. And so I want to give you a chance to just kind of, start off, go wherever you would like to go from the introduction of how you've gotten to the place in which you are now, and what does it mean when it comes to speaking about wealth and financial services.
Yes, it's interesting that you said that, Sonny. As you mentioned, in my intro, that I have been in several businesses, and you also mentioned that I'm, an immigrant from Jamaica. So we came to this country 26 years ago, and I've been involved in all different kinds of businesses, and lots of money, come through my hand. Not that I am a waste or an excessive spend or, of money, but money got spent. And if I was told how money worked, from the beginning, if I learned those concepts, when I came first to this country, I would have been in a better place financially now. And that is my reason for wanting other people not to make the same mistakes that I've made. So as I said, it's not that, I spend money unnecessarily, home owner. So, I make some money. Let me do over the driveway, let me paint the house.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's upgrade the car. Why not go on a trip?
Absolutely.
Doing stuff. Why not help folks back home? All that kind of stuff, which is good in itself. But I could have structured, I could have structured my money in a different way to where it is still working for me. And the people who have helped, I could maybe continue to help them other than a one-shot deal. So
that's it. Right.
I've learned those.
So when it dries out, what do we do to re-up it? How do we re-up it? How do we flip it?
All right. So I'm gonna go through a series of things, that pretty much, and I'm gonna be going what we do at WSB is we educate people. We don't go out and sell families. We sit with families. We figure out, what is it that they're trying to accomplish. First, we find out where they are. So we take them from financial illiteracy to financial freedom by using all these different, solutions on these platforms that we have available to us through World Financial Group. So we sit,
right.
we do, like a financial strategy. We check out where you are. We really check out, how you're spending, your income, your debt, everything. We see exactly where you are. We see if there's any disposable income. We help you where you can save. And then the fact that we help you to save, yes, we help you to put it in a vehicle that can help you with retirement, that will help you with long-term care, that kind of a thing, that will help you to send your kids to college without them having to get student loans. So we do our education through a book that we share with the families. It says Saving Your Future, which is basic principles of building a financial foundation. And if I just start at the intro and just kind of tell you what our situation is and as to why we decide to go this route as against sitting down and trying to sell somebody one or two or three products that we have, because we're not pigeonholed into selling one or two or three products. Yes, we have 200 providers that we work with. Yes. So if I can read something for you real quick, as to what the situation is in the United States, it says that 33% or more than 77 million of Americans don't pay their bills on time. It says 39% carry a
Wait a minute. How much? What was the percentage again? Say that again. Wait,
33%.
Back that up and say that one more time. 33% of Americans don't pay their bills on time. And then what was the next number you said?
Or 77 million. Yes.
Wow.
And then another 39% of us carry a credit card debt from month to month. So we just pay the basic. Yes. The minimum. Mm-hmm. And then it says 59% of adults say that, they have savings. And worse, more than half now think it's acceptable to default on their mortgage if they can't afford to pay it. So therefore, they don't even know the ramifications for missing a payment. So listen to the irony. He said most of us don't wait to become a statistic to know that we are in trouble. He said these people are all around us. They happen to be our families and our friends' families. But this is the irony. He says it's ironic that we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but we always have money problems. We can work hard our lives but retire poor. We do much to raise our kids just to see them finish college with a lot of debt. And now debt has now become a way of life for us in America. So it's crazy. Everybody you talk to or the other person is telling you that they have money problems one way or the other. And we're living in the richest country in the world. So something is wrong.
Yes. Living in the richest country in the world, and we're destitute. That is an issue. That is a real issue. And the sad part about it, Leroy, people know it. So the question is, how do you stop the bleeding? How do you improve your circumstances? Because the rat race is real. The higher, with the top 1% knows this. And that's why they have the control of the magnitude of the dollar in the country versus the poor middle class, which the middle class is shrinking by the minute. It's on this cycle that we just don't know or don't seemingly know how to hit the brakes and regroup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that is the reason why, we are building a new industry here at WFG, and we're doing it through education, because, we were told to go to school, get a good education, get a good job with benefits, and that you can retire. And all of that has changed. All of that has changed, It's not like before, yes. companies are not
Leroy,
offering pensions anymore. Yeah.
That's right. Pensions is dried up. We have a caller that wants to speak in, and I'm glad that we're looking at the switchboard because we get dived into these conversations sometimes that I miss you. So let me make sure our listening audience who's listening to us, whether you're listening online or you're dialing directly into the studio line, if you do want to speak to Leroy and speak to us live, you do need to dial in at 347-826-7520, and you do just what I need you to do, which is hit the 1 on your keypad for us to know that you would like to speak live. So, caller, I'm going to bring you in, caller. So anybody that's calling in, be prepared to give us your name and where you're calling from. You can ask your question. Good morning. Welcome to Live Mouth Radio.
Hi, my name's Billy. I'm calling from Mississippi. And I don't know if you need all that education. I'm not sure about that. The neighborhood I live in, and we got a good plant to go work at every day. And I don't think you need to keep going to school. I think you just need to have a good job, like the guy just said there, and get you a good job there and stay right in your neighborhood. I think people focus too much on education, and these kids go off and they go to college. And they spend all that money, or they go in a bunch of debt, and their parents are in debt, and they come out and they can't find a job for 3 or 4 years. Usually, I mean, they don't really learn nothing important in there. I think where you learn stuff is at work. You learn stuff in your school.
Right.
I graduated all the way through 6th grade, right? And I can read in cursive. You believe that? I graduated 6th grade, and I can read in cursive, and I can tell circle time, too. I can tell that. And I went to work down here at GT, right near my house, right near the trailer park. And everything's just fine. Everything's just fine.
Right.
I can
Well, you know what, Billy? Billy, you made a very valid point, and there's been a lot of discussion about whether higher education, and student debt is relevant to securing the future of our...
I think they mostly get high on higher education. If you think about it, them kids, you can't just leave them alone because that's what they do. That's why they call it higher education. It's not really. They get high. That's all they do up there, and they just sit around and take courses, sleep in all day till 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then walk over with their backpack on and go to class and then get a bunch of C's.
Gotcha. Well, Billy, thank you so much. Do you have any questions before we get back to our special guest?
I do. I have one more question.
Do you have a question for? Mm-hmm.
I do. What do you call a black woman with 7 abortions?
Yeah, I knew that was coming. So, Leroy, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah.
This is the wonderful thing about our radio network. So, Billy, I got your phone number, honey. I can see where you're calling from. I appreciate you coming in and showing your level of ignorance to our broadcast. And this is a real station where we can actually say whatever we really need to say and be very transparent. So we appreciate all of your insertion of stupidity, and we can continue not to the level in which we're going to entertain. Okay, so Leroy, you go ahead and continue with your conversation, honey.
Yeah. I mean, when Billy started out there, he was, from where he was coming from, seeing that, how education is and all that kind of stuff. So he made some good points there, and not paying attention to what he said on the back end there. People are people.
Of course.
But, yes. But he made
a
good point.
That has some relevance.
Yes. It's the old paradigm, to his point. We're taught to go to school, get a good education and stuff. But and we keep doing that kind of thing, and it's not working, and we're not stopping. And I've seen parents who spend a lot of money on their kids take out student loans and they get this degree and they come out and they're waitresses in restaurants trying to make tips. You know what I mean? And they have all these student loans to pay back. So we just got to do something else, and that's the reason why we're helping people through education. We mentioned that we're living in the richest country in the world, and it's unfortunate financial issues are not often discussed. As a family around a kitchen table, most people having problems in balancing their checkbooks or reading a financial statement. We get credit cards, and we go out and we don't understand the hidden charges. We buy life insurance policies and we stick them in a cabinet. We're not sure what we have. We contribute to our 401k and we hope that somebody will manage it for us. We don't know what is the 49.5 rule with our 401k. We don't know what is a 72.5 rule with our 401k. So, these kind of stuff or technical stuff, I would love to explain if any of your listeners are interested in knowing, what's going on with their 401k and what is the 49.5, year rule and the 72.5 rule. We're more than happy to explain that kind of stuff, for your listeners. But as we continue, as we continue in our discussion, the pillars of safety, financial safety, especially when it comes to retirement, is through Social Security, through company pensions, and through personal savings. So, Social Security in the next couple of years is going to become obsolete. Companies are not offering pensions anymore. They only give it through the 401k. Some are matching it, some are not, because things are different. So the only pillar that is really holding up retirement is our personal savings. And then we need to do self-evaluation and find out how much savings do I have that when I'm ready to retire, I can do so comfortably, even on the salary that I am accustomed to. So we need some self-evaluation in order to check out where we are, where retirement is concerned. It's funny with our financial foundation. There are 4 pillars that builds it. One of the first one is protection. Then the second one is debt management. The third one is having emergency funds, and the fourth one is investment. But it's unfortunate that most of us, when we talk to people, we realize, I'm fine. I have a lot of money invested in the stock market, and I'm invested into real estate. And, they have stocks, they have bonds, and they have all of that. But they don't have the first pillar of the protection, of the financial foundation, which is the protection. So they build the roof before they build the foundation.
And you said, Leroy, protection, debt management, investment, and what was the fourth one?
Yes, protection first, then we have debt management, then we have emergency funds. And then we have investment.
Gotcha.
So investment is the roof, yes, but most of us build the roof before we build the foundation.
No, we know.
And
that's true.
That's
very true.
Yes, everybody will tell you that they have a lot of money too in the bank, which is, it should be really emergency fund. So I will just, speak a little about the financial foundation here for a minute. A lot of us boast on having a lot of money in the bank, $300,000, $400,000. We have, $500,000 in the bank, and we figure that we're fine. But just let's use this scenario of say $300,000 in the bank. If we should come in a situation, unfortunately, for long-term care, whether we had an accident or some illness or something and we require long-term care, $300,000 can only last 30 months.
Whoa, 300, you said 300,000?
Will only last you 30 months because it's $8,000 to $10,000 per month for long-term care.
Wow. 10,000.
And then there goes, and there goes all of your money.
Yep.
And then the protection, which is insurance. A lot of under there's a federal law that was passed that there's a lot of things that can happen with insurance, which a lot of people are not familiar. Tax deferred. Yes, you can avoid paying certain taxes if you use that platform that was enacted by the federal government. And a lot of people are not aware. Did you know that insurance is paid tax-free to a beneficiary without having to go through a probate court? A check is just going directly from an insurance company to a beneficiary, to a family. But a lot of people don't know that. And if you invest your money into real estate, it incurs a thing called capital gain tax. So it has to be sold, and all of those taxes have to be paid before. And
unless you got it wrapped up in some type of trust.
Like,
if you don't have it wrapped up in some type of exactly.
And some of it will have to go through probate. So all of that takes a whole, and then sometimes if you don't have the taxes to pay, you lose some of your property. Right. And what you were hoping that your family would get, they wouldn't get it. So insurance would even create a buffer for that. Another advantage of insurance as well. Do you know that if like 3 members of a family buy $1 million worth of insurance, that can stop generational poverty?
Wait a minute. Say that again.
If 3 people in a family buy $1 million worth of insurance, and if they should pass, and that money is passed on to the family, that can stop generational poverty. Turn that family around. Yes, through proper money management. And another thing, again, we want to talk about.
Leroy, why did you just hit on my number 10? I've always said there's this thing about me with 10, and that I feel like, that there's always been this vision that I feel that God has planted in my mind for over 20 years, that there's this group of 10 that has surrounded me to be able to make these type of moves, what you're talking about right now. With $1 million, you can start a credit union with $1 million.
No,
so
you would have to have
family that you're mentioning.
You have to have $10 million. You have $10 million to start a bank.
So I'll be increased. But my point is, a family can do that.
Well, and not only start a bank or a credit union, but create some form of investment. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yes, do something as a family or something to stop generational poverty. Because here you would have had $1 million, and maybe another 2 years, another $1 million come in the family because that other family member passed, and then some other time another $1 million come in the family to help create any slacks that's happening in the business and balance things out, and things change, and kids can now graduate from school and come and work in the family business. And get out of the cycle of having all of these student loans, going to college and can't get a job, and that kind of a thing. Another thing I want to talk about too is emergency funds. It's also ironic that most of us, as soon as we get money and we're ready to save, we rush to the bank, and again we prize ourselves in having lots of money in the bank. But a lot of people don't know the interest rate that is paid on their savings account. Right. A lot of people don't know how much is paid on their savings account, which is also simple interest, and that is less than 1% that is paid. So here is something that I have learned since I came to WFG about the rule of 72. So Einstein came up with E equal MC square, and we did that at school in math. I don't know how well that is helping us now in the real world. But the same Einstein came up with the rule of 72. And what the rule of 72 is the magic of compound interest, which can be used for you and also against you. So how does the rule of 72 work? What you do, you divide the interest rate that you get on your money into 72, and the answer is the amount of years it takes for your money to double. So, for example, you have $10,000 in your savings account in one of these commercial banks around the place, and they're giving you less than 1%. And let's also take, for example, that it gives us 1%. If you divide 1 into 72, it's 72. So your $10,000 is going to turn $20,000 in 72 years, sitting in the bank. And
most people won't even live that long to even see it.
But you see, the funny thing is you have to add the age to it as well. So it's not just 72 years. You might be 30 now, and it's going to take you 72 years for your $10,000 to become 20. So then you're going to be 102 years old then.
How are you going to enjoy most of what you're trying to do?
Exactly. And nobody tells
us. God.
And we go to the bank and we put our money in there. But guess what happened with the bank? The bank put the money in a vehicle that pays them 12% compound. So your 10,000 in 72 years is going to make you 20, but your 10,000, the bank put it in a vehicle that pays them 12% compound, which 12 into 72 is 6. So every 6 years they double your money, and in the compounding effect, they make $640,000 on your $10,000 in 72 years. So much you get paid out of it? $10,000.
Wow.
$10,000.
Yeah.
So understanding the
Jazz is listening in, and she's like, "We're just financially illiterate."
So understanding the power of compound interest, we need to find a vehicle for ourselves that will pay us, better interest rate than 1%, and not having all of our money in the bank, and also find somewhere where you will not lose your money in the event of the movements of the stock market, because the stock market goes up and down. So, one of the products that we have, which is an FFIUL, which is Financial Foundation Index Universal Life Plan. We are part of your premium on a monthly basis, goes into this index fund that pays a maximum of 15% and a minimum of 0.75. So if the stock market crash, because it is not invested in the stock market, it's invested into 3 different indexes. The S&P 500, yes, a European index and a Japanese index fund. But if it should fall, if the stock market should fall, you'll still get a 0.75. Right now, it is hovering around 8%. And if you get less than 3% on anything that you have, you're really losing money, because inflation and taxes would have eaten out part of your money, so it would not have the buying power. So you need to be getting over 5% on your money in order for it to be working for you. So these are some of the things that we sit down with families and discuss and help them to appreciate. Another thing that I want to mention, Sonny, is the against you part of the rule of 72. So if we have a credit card, and the credit card is 29% interest rate, 21% interest rate, and if you divide 21 into 70, it's like what, 3 point something. So every 3.5 years, let us just say, your credit card balance is going to double if you pay the minimum on the thing.
Ooh.
And people don't understand that kind of thing. So we help families to appreciate that as we sit with them. What are some of the things that we can do? Yeah, what are some of the things that we can do? What are some of the changes that we can make? You had asked me that. How can we turn this around? First, we have to look, because sometimes there's no disposable income to get into anything to necessarily change our situation. Because I said in the outset, that we live in the richest country in the world, and we're pretty much just working from hand to mouth. Whatever we work is what we spend. So first, we need to pay ourselves first. Robert Kiyosaki, mentioned that in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, that we need to pay ourselves first. It's 10% of our income to ourselves first before we pay bills. But we have been doing that in the reverse for centuries, where we pay our bills and whatever is left is what we save. But, how can we make small changes, in our lives? For example, we could cut down on some personal luxury, to reap the benefits on the back end. Things like sodas, buying sodas and lattes and bottled water.
Coffee, Starbucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have cigarettes.
Find some way to shave it. To shave it, right?
High-end gadgets, cell phones. Why do we have to get us with the iPhone 11 when we already had an iPhone 10? Why do we have to get rid of it to get the new one?
Me.
And we pretty much can do the same,
Leroy,
because it can take more pictures.
I'm still toting the iPhone. I think it's the 7 or the 8. As long as it's working.
Oh my goodness.
As long as it's working.
Stuff like that. We help families to appreciate that. Okay, do you have a landline in your house? Yes. Do you use it? No, because most we communicate on our cell phone. How much do you spend
Yeah.
on a monthly basis for your landline? Oh, I spend $80 a month for it. Oh, there is an $80 that we can save and put it somewhere that can benefit you in the future. You know?
Yep.
You know, stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, why do you have to eat out so many times on a monthly basis? Why not buy some stuff and cook at home and save some money for your future? You know, shopping, some people have that as a hobby. They go out and, you know, man, we go out to buy a Toyota Camry and we drive home a Lexus. You know,
Say it again, brother. The Toyota to the Lexus. And guess what? The Lexus ain't nothing but a high-end Toyota.
you know,
Leroy, you over here preaching, bro. You are over here preaching, man. You give it. Can I tell you, this is like so refreshing. Oh my goodness. Leroy, while we got a little quick break, let me take a quick commercial break. Let's recognize our media partners real quick and just hold real tight, honey, and hold on and come right back, guys. And our listeners that are
problem,
listening to
no problem. I'm right here.
Yes.
I'm right here.
Yes, thank you. Our listeners that are right in queue, if you'd like to talk to us, make sure you hit the one on the keypad when we come right back from a quick commercial break. You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
Ladies, are you looking for the next best find? Don Shea Shoe Teeth will bring out your inner glam. The lady herself, Miss Don Shea, is dedicated to providing you with the latest in Hotlanta fashion footwear. It'll make you stand out at every event. In addition to our amazing prices, we are the go-to source for high fashion footwear. So stop by and shop online. We're sure to have the right shoes for you. www.donshay-shoes.com. That's www.donshay-shoes.com. Don Shay's is the only place you can go to still be sane and have a sure side.
Recent auto accident, back pain, neck pain, stress, headaches? Ewing Chiropractic can help. Here at Ewing Chiropractic, our office utilizes an approach of pain relief measures for the treatment of auto accidents, slip and fall, sports, and on-the-job injuries, as well as acute and chronic pain. We can be reached at 678-586-3592 and located at 5459 North Henry Boulevard, DC in Stockbridge, Georgia. Healing the injured one spine at a time. We can be reached at ewingchiropractic.com.
Happy holidays. This is Natasha with BB Cakes and Sweets, where we handcraft your dessert to your sweetest occasion. Please give us a call at 678-435-4781 and let us handcraft your holiday extravaganza. We do custom cakes, pies, desserts of all sorts, cookies, brownies, cupcakes, cake pops, treat tables, wedding cakes, anything your heart desires. So give us a call. We would love to talk with you. Again, you can reach us at 678-435-4781, or you can reach us at bbcakesandsweets@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Yelp, and Google. Thank you, and have a happy holiday.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network. All right, we're back live. I'm so glad that we've had an opportunity to have this conversation. I think it's so needed, and what a pivotal time. Look how the spirit works. This is the busiest time in the Western civilization. I can say for certain that this is a high retail commercial time period where people are out spending a lot of their hard-earned money doing what we always look to do at the end of the year, which is to bring about Christmas gifts and purchases, right? Now, ironically, Black Friday broke records, $9 billion in online sales, and Cyber Monday was not far behind with over $7 billion in spending. So today, our very special guest, Mr. Leroy Francis, We actually have some listeners that are wanting to speak to us. And I just want to tell you that this is a pivotal time. I think what you're talking right now about is dead on. We're right in an intricate time period, Leroy, where we're coming to the close of the year, and then next year, within months, people are going to be getting tax returns. And, you know, these 4 or 5 months are very pivotal that could change the dynamics of people's futures for years to come, as you mentioned, before we went to a commercial break. What's your thoughts on it? Right before we went to break, you talked about the rule of 72. And if you guys are following us on social media, we've been posting a lot of Leroy's statements, a lot of his quotes and things that he's been sharing with us. I actually posted some graphs about the rule of 72 so you can kind of really get a geared idea about what he's mentioning from a visual effect. And Leroy, we do actually have a caller that wants to speak to us. So do you want to respond real quick, or do you want me to let the caller speak and then you respond to the caller?
Yes, yeah, let me hear what's on the caller's mind.
Say it again.
Yeah, what was the question from the caller?
So let me bring them on. Caller, you're live. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Tammy from Atlanta.
I'm sorry, tell Tammy?
Yes, this is Tammy from Atlanta. How are you?
Hi, Tammy.
Great.
From Atlanta. Wonderful. How are you, honey?
Great. I just wanted to say that I am being extra inspired by Mr. Francis. Talk about finances, talk about how to make things work, how money works, and I've already learned so much from the rule of 72 to how to start a financial foundation. And my question is, where can I get more information? Like, is this a movement, or is it something that I can join? Like, what would be my next step if I wanted to support you any further, Mr. Francis?
Thank you so much for coming on, Tammy, and I appreciate your comments, and I'm happy that you have learned something from our discussion here. At our office, you're in Atlanta. Our office is in Norcross, and we have free workshops in our office that we offer to the community. So, in addition to sitting at a kitchen table with a family who might have special, needs that needs to have things, checked out, we have free workshop in our office on a Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. and on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And what we provide at these workshops, we have a workshop book that you get. We're not into book selling, but that workshop book is like $4. And you go in there for about an hour, and you have a trained financial professional that's going to be teaching on subjects such as increasing your cash flow. Another time, there's going to be a class for debt management, how to manage your debt. And again, I emphasize that all these classes are free to the community. Building a strong financial foundation, proper protection, building wealth, retirement, and wealth preservation. So we have these subjects that are discussed, are taught in our workshops, in our Norcross Financial Center, or Atlanta Norcross Financial Center, every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. and completely free to the community. And at the end of our discussion here, I will also offer some contacts, my email address and phone number. If anyone would like to get more information, we'll be more than happy to make an appointment, sit down, and see where you are and see how we can help. It's a no obligation, and we are also on a financial literacy campaign to educate 1 million families by 2020. And we're looking for campaigners because there are also a lot of money in the money business. So if anyone is listening and would like to do something on a part-time basis alongside what you do on your secular job, do something in the financial industry, we're interested in talking to you as well to help you to get on board with us, that we can help more families to understand how money works and that they can have money working for them. So again, Tammy, we really thank you for calling in, and I'm very happy that our discussion is helping some.
Tammy, are you still with us?
Yes, thank you so much. You wouldn't mind giving your number now, or would you want me to wait until the end?
Oh, it's not a problem. I'm more than happy to give it to you now. My number is 404-454-9902. And as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of calls coming in. So I would prefer if you could text me, when is the best time to return to give you a call. We could set something up or answer some specific questions that you might have. And I'm also on WhatsApp. You can also WhatsApp me as well. And my email address, if you wish to email me, is leroy809@gmail.com. So you can also email me. And we also offer Zoom presentations. So for folks that are not in the Atlanta area where we are located, if they're in any other states and would like to see a full presentation, we could do that over the computer. At their convenience, we could arrange a time and we could do a full presentation and answer your questions as well. So for the listeners who are in different states, outside of Georgia, we'll be more than happy to do that for them as well.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Leroy.
I will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you for calling, Tammy. And Tammy, feel free to just stay on with us and listen in. Leroy, for you at this point, how has it been? I know that you already previously was well-rounded when it came to knowing about insurance, and you've done things in the community, working, doing blind. So you work intricately with people and helping them to forecast and move things along within their most personal spaces. And it's so funny, Jazzy and I was talking. I remember the day we first met you and had an opportunity to spend some time. So, Tammy, thank you for calling in and asking him what you asked him, because literally I remember so distinctly, as well as Jazzy was saying, how Leroy just really left you feeling like I can empower myself and I can trust to talk to this gentleman and he's going to guide me into the right direction. And it's really a decision. And, a lot of times as people, we don't necessarily give ourselves the opportunity to be forgiving of some of the things that we've done in the past. And so a lot of times when you've had financial hardships, like Leroy mentioned, there's so many of the people in the world that has been affected financially, which has created the community's poverty. And you don't believe me, just take the time and go down and ride down the streets in major cities. You'll see tent cities and stuff like that of people that at one point may have been at the top of their game and lost everything and just has not, come back from it. So it's so important that we forgive ourselves and move forward from, making really bad financial decisions, because a lot of times we just don't know. And so you haven't been guided, you haven't been exposed, you don't really know sometimes what steps or corners to take. You're aware of it. People know that there's a stock market, Leroy. They know that there's, opportunities to do different things of investments. But I promise you, it's such an intimidating factor that it's important to have a group like WSB to guide you through this process. So for you now, now becoming a part of the wealth education community, what's the next steps for you as you talked about the goals of going into 2020? We're going right into 2020, guys. We got weeks away from it. What are we going to do differently? And what, Leroy, can we do right now that you feel that you can share with our listeners to make their 2020 better than their 2019?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked me that, Sonny, because if we don't make changes, things are going to continue the same. So if we're going to do the same thing that we did in 2019, If we do the same thing in 2020, the results are going to be the same. They said the definition of insanity is continue to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So we have to make changes. And when we make changes, it's not a pleasant thing. You're going to feel uncomfortable, but you have to be uncomfortable in the beginning in order to be comfortable on the back end. I always hear this, people say that when the spaceship is going into space, when it just takes off, there's a lot of shaking and, there's a power and shaking. And as soon as it breaks through the Earth's atmosphere, the guys inside just start to float around. And it's this thing that start to move. Yeah, it gets easier. It gets easier. The aeroplane takes a lot of fuel to get off the ground. But when it gets off the ground, when it starts to move at a certain speed, it doesn't use a lot of fuel anymore. So there's a lot of changes that have to be made. We as a people, we make resolutions, and as soon as the middle of January, we break off this resolution, whether to go and do exercise or to do, have better relationship with family, whatever the situation is. But after a while, we forget. We can't follow through. But we have to find a way where we can follow through on the changes that we make in order to achieve the results that we intended initially. So in my space, we have to go to Starbucks every day to buy a latte for $5 because we work and we go to Starbucks every day and buy a latte for $5. We work for 20 days for the month. 20 times 5 is $100. Why not buy some coffee in the supermarket, make your own coffee, take it to work with you? So there are some simple changes that we need to make. Cut down on our shopping. Yes, cut down on the expensive gadgets that we continue to buy. Cut down on the clothes. Wear some of the clothes that you have not worn in a while. Because one of the problems that we're having is we're trying to impress people who we don't even know.
Yep, that's right.
And then when we get
people that don't care.
Yes,
they
don't care.
And when you're out here in destitute, they don't care. They can care less.
So we don't want that. And if there's anything that we can do, if get with us, let me see where you are and see if we can help you to get on the program, help you to save some money, and we can show you where you can put this money. Because it's important to start. We're helping families to do. Can you save $10 a day? If a family saves $10 a day for 30 years through the vehicles in which we offer families, they'll have $500,000. You save $10 a day in 30 years, you will have $500,000 to your disposal. If you save $20 a day, you at 8%, just the same 8%. In the funds that we tell you that we have in this particular product that I like called the FFIUL, you will have 8% and you save $20 a day for 30 years, you'll have close to $1 million ready for retirement. So the younger you start, is the better it is. And we have a scenario here of a young man who started saving at age 25, and he saved $10 a day for until he was age 31 for 7 years. Okay? And he accumulated, when he at 48 years old, he accumulated $128,000, and he only contributed $25,000 into the fund. And he accumulated through the power of compound interest at 8%, $128,000. His friend did not start until he was 32 years old. And in order to accumulate $130,000, he had to put in $61,200. So the later you start. So what is the wealth? What is the wealth formula? The wealth formula is money plus time plus or minus the rate of return minus inflation minus taxes equal wealth. And time is the biggest factor. So if you're young, you have time on your side. If you're older, like myself, you don't have time on your side. And if you don't have time, you have to have money. And most of us, based on the fact that we do not understand how money works, we don't have the money, so we are in trouble. So We got to get going with something. We might not have all we need, but we need to have something going.
Yes, you're right. I think the biggest part about it is making the level of commitment. And a lot of times it's just to say, like what Tammy did, hey, I'm putting my arm up. I know I need to know this. How can I start? Where do I start? Right? The 4 pillars, protection, debt management, investing in emergency funds, that you already kind of keying in on all 4 aspects. I know you were talking about protection and talking about insurance, and I think we had a couple of people that was calling in and talking to us. He spoke on debt management and investment. I know he kind of hit on all of these aspects, and they all play into one another. So I definitely suggest anybody that's listening to the show, we have a lot of people, we're in the middle of the day, that is connecting to us on social media, that's inboxing us and saying that they know that they want to listen to this show. So the great thing about our segments, Loudmouth Radio is on air with our shows typically live, but even after we come off air, you can archive this show 24/7 on demand on your favorite radio app. We're on iHeart, we're on TuneIn, we're on Stitcher Radio, we're on Apple and Google Podcasts. We're on every major radio platform. Of course, you can go right to loudmouthradio.com, which has 2 Ds in Loudmouth, and you can listen to the show from beginning to end on demand 24/7. And I guarantee you, Leroy, I can already tell we're going to have quite a bit of listeners pulling from this content, because I'm getting people that are sending up Facebook likes and everything else, because they may be working. They may not be in a position to speak. Even if you're listening online, Leroy is going to definitely repeat his information, his contact information, and I suggest you go back home or talk to your partners, even if it's just you, and really think about how you can make a difference going into 2020. I know that, Leroy, for you, having had multiple businesses, what do you feel has been the difference for you since you started doing the educational wealth, segments that you mentioned to the young lady that called in, Tammy, and how much of a difference has it made for you since you've been doing that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm Sonny, because I told you, a lot of money came through my hands in doing the different things that I have done, but I did not know what to do with it and put them in the vehicles that they need to go in. And I start implementing that and start seeing them working for me. I know we don't have a lot of time left, so I'm going to kind of go through some of the products that we have and what I personally are participating in and how it can benefit your listeners. I personally got one of those FFIUL, and what the FFIUL, it has a thing at the back end of the FFIUL. In addition to creating a retirement income for me, it has long-term care. So my corporate...
Okay, let me make sure I'm getting your, Leroy, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I want to catch you before you get deep. Repeat what you're calling it, because I know we're using a lot of acronyms. Sometimes people can't follow the acronym or know exactly what it means. Can you give me the breakdown of what the acronym is?
Yeah,
for that portfolio?
Yes. It's Financial Foundation Indexed Universal Life. We just call it for short FFIUL. It's an insurance product that has a heavy investment part of it, to where it pays right now up to 8%, 8.5%. It pays a maximum of 15% on part of your premium. So that part of it provides, because that money is invested in an index fund that compounds, so that is creating a retirement, and I can overfund it every year. So if I have some money to save, rather than put it in the bank to where I'm only making less than 1%, I put it in there, and you will learn what the maximum that you can do on a yearly basis in order to have tax deferred, in order for you not to pay any taxes. So we have that plan. And at the back end of that plan, it has long-term care, to where the coverage that I have. So you have $500,000 worth of coverage. You'll get 2% of that every month if you have a long-term care challenge. And if you are going to be permanently needing that care, it will pay 8, 10, $15,000, $20,000 every month for the rest of your life. So insurance, I would want to say, it's not a death benefit or you have to die for benefits. And we have other plans too that will pay living benefits. So if you are also diagnosed with a chronic illness or a terminal illness, or a critical illness, the company will pay up to 90% of your coverage while you're alive. And that money will help you to survive and keep you moving. We also have a final expense plan where a lot of people are a lot of people, when somebody dies, it's a big challenge as to where to go, what to do. All you have to do with this company called Everest is to give them one call. They have funeral directors there that will take up and handle all your business for you. If you should die outside of the country, they will fly you back into the country as part of the coverage. And your money is paid to you in 48 hours. If you have,
and not a GoFundMe dependency, right?
And we don't have to get into the GoFundMe. We just put aside a little money and that can be done. We also help you to create your will, healthcare directed, power of attorney, customized legal documents. We have a storage where you can store your information, your plans, your recipes. All kinds of things can be stored in there. When it's final expense time, they will give you a whole diversity of quotes from all different funeral homes, and they will take care of all of that for you. And it's 24/7. You just have to make one call, and they will take care of all of that for you. So we have all of these kind of plans. We don't only sell insurance. We do annuities. Index annuities. So you have your retirement money. You want it to stretch longer because with medication, people are living longer. We can help you with different platforms that to roll over your 401k. You have money that you want to put somewhere for it to work in a longer period. We do all of that for you. So we're not pigeonholed in a few products. We have 200 different platforms, financial company and insurance companies that we work with we can offer solution based on where you're trying to go. But before we offer anything, we educate you as to how these things work. And you make the decision as to what you want. So we're not selling you anything. You are going to buy if you think that this is best for your family. And that is what we do at WFG. We're educating people that they can make educated decisions with their finances.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm going to tell you, it's so needed at this point. If we do not put plans together, and you have a very diverse portfolio, but everything you said wasn't anything over the top. It wasn't anything that I feel like requires a whole lot of heavy lifting to try to understand the consistency of having it. It's just basic things. I think one of the biggest things that people recognize is that having a final expense plan, like we mentioned, and not being dependent on just GoFundMe. Yeah, the GoFundMe solution. And that's tough because nowadays, like my mother always said, that death doesn't have an age. And there's more people we've seen, young and old, middle age, with no health issues, dying, or accidents happening, things you just can't foresee, car wrecks. It's a lot of things that just need to have some type of direction and some essence of how to put it into motion. And I think, Leroy, you nailed all of that. And I want to thank you because we are at the point in which we're going to conclude this broadcast. If you would, please share again your contact information and how somebody can get a hold of you beyond this broadcast.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Leroy Francis. My phone number is 404-454-9902. And, we can have a conversation. I would appreciate if you text me and tell me when is a good time to return your call. Because, there's going to be a lot of calls and stuff. So we just want to kind of minimize where I can get back to everybody who is interested in getting more information. My email address is leroy809@gmail.com, which is LEROY809 leroy.09@gmail.com. You can also email me your contact information, and I will get back with everybody, on a scheduled way, and we can answer some of your questions. If you're out of town and you would like to get more information, we could do it over Zoom. If you're in Atlanta, we'll find a way to get you to our Atlanta Financial Center, which is at 1770 Indian Trail Road. That's Norcross, Georgia, 30093. So it's right there after Jimmy Carter going north on 85. It's the next exit, Indian Trail. You'll make a right, and the building will be on the left. We are on the second floor. We have the whole floor. So, we have the workshops on a Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. You just come, register. You're a guest of Leroy Francis, and we'll find you.
Would that be tonight?
We'll help you. Yes.
Would that be tonight, Leroy? Okay.
Tonight at 7. Absolutely.
Okay.
So 7 p.m. tonight.
Great.
At that address. 1770 Indian Trail Road, and it does for about an hour and a half, and you get a full overview. Or if you want to get into a workshop, we'll get you one of the workshop books. And I said we're not into book selling, so the prices are very low. It's just $4. Just less than
That's
the
awesome.
cost of a latte. Yes. And
Exactly.
you go in here, you learn all of these things for free. There's no charge and no obligation to learn and come for free in our office. And we're looking also for campaigners to help us with the campaign that we're on. So anybody who's looking to make some extra money in the financial industry, and as I mentioned first, that there's a lot of money to be made, in the money business. So we help families. We don't get commission out of the monies that these families pay. We get a referral fee from the providers, and they pay us well to go out and help families. So, I'm looking forward to hearing from your listeners and to see how further we can help. You mentioned that I was a guru. I still humbly don't think that I am. I'm still learning, and but your questions will be answered because we have several associates at different levels that will be more than happy to answer any question you have in the financial space. So I really appreciate this opportunity, Tony. Yes.
Excellent. I think that it's just so needed, and I'm so grateful that you took the time to talk to us and to our listening audience. So, guys, you've heard it directly. We want to thank Mr. Leroy Francis, financial guru of WSB. You're such a jewel, and you're such in the right industry at the right time, at the right place. And I know that you're going to be such a game changer for so many people who are in need of this and who are tired of trying to figure it out, who's not even just paycheck to paycheck, moment to moment. And I'll say this, from so many different cultures, there's so many generational levels of poverty that people know that they want to change things. They want their children and their grandchildren to have a better chance than the struggles that we and people above us and behind us and our ancestors had. And each generation should be moving forward if we're doing the right things to set them on the right path. So I thank you so much, Leroy, to take this time to talk with us today and our listening audience. Leroy, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I want to thank the listening audience too as well. Yes, I really want to thank everyone that came on as well.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking to you. I know we're going to have some more conversation outside of this. But I just want to tell you to have a blessed day, give you some time to get ready. I know you're going to have your workshop this evening. So, guys, listen, if you're in Atlanta, here's a wonderful opportunity, 7 p.m. tonight, 7070 Indian Trail Road, right up on the north side. Go up there and get up there early. You know how the traffic is off 285, 20, or 75 in the middle of the day. So if you can, leave home about 5:30, or get off work and just start heading north. And look for Leroy Francis. He gave his contact information.
1770. Yes, 1770. Yes, Indian Trail.
1770. Indian Trail Road. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leroy, so much, darling.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Sonny. Thank you guys, too.
Have a blessed day. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, back at you as well.
Thank you, dear. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. This is such a dynamic show, and I'm always so glad when we have these shows, especially in the latter part of the year. We're literally 14 days hanging on to 2019, and I know a lot of us are already speaking about what I'm doing in my 2020 and how 2020 is this. Let your 2019 be great right now. Don't wait until next year to ignite whatever it is that you desire. You need to do it now. There's no reason to not take the time just by listening to this program, applying some of the principles that Leroy spoke about. I'm going to tell you, when I met with Leroy, I had pen and paper. I knew this brother was coming on today, and I knew he was going to throw some power across these phone lines. So I had my notebook and my pen ready, and he's just an awesome person. If you think he's dynamic, just listening to him, wait till you physically get into his presence. And Leroy's that type of guy. He will travel. He has no problem. He's got a passport, and he's ready. He's ready for serious players. And so do me a favor. If you reach out to him, don't waste the man's time. We already know what time it is. I think you can hear in his voice. He's very clear and distinct. He's very clear and distinct about every aspect in which you could possibly imagine. But he is so approachable. He's very easy. He listens very well. And so whatever it is, I tell you that it's always some of the most hardest groups of things to do when it comes to certain personal things. And finances is one of those things that people can get real touchy about, and they're fearful to sometimes share the situation because we are in the world of social media, and people are posting and glitzing, and their appearance appears like this. And when you're in places like Atlanta or Los Angeles or New York or Chicago, where there's an abundant amount of people and there's an abundant amount of competitive spirits and energies and synergies and expectations that you're this and you're that, sometimes people don't feel like they're living up to what other people's expectations are, which is a little bit about what Leroy touched on today. And at the end of the day, it's you that go behind that door and close that door, and you have to sink into your real world. And if you're like me, you understand that I know that I have to do some things differently. And so I look forward to hearing from our listeners, our followers, our supporters, how the show may have impacted you. So you can go right to loudmouthradio.com. You can go to our contact page. Feel free to fill out our contact form, and if you have some information you'd like to share there, if you have some tips or some questions or anything like that, you can reach out to us. And also, if you're a small business that you want to have more people hear about your business, you can become a media partner. You can become a supporter of the radio network. And definitely, you can register your business to appear just like this segment on T.E.A, the Entrepreneur Academy, because this is just what this platform is for, to give information and resources, hopefully and gearfully, to empower, inspire, and entertain. That's our segment of Radio Network. Loudmouth Radio, we thank you so much. You guys have a blessed Christmas. Have a happy New Year. We will be on air prior to the New Year coming in, but I always want to make sure that if you're listening today, there's no better time today to share happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you may or may not celebrate. Just recognize that we're here. We believe in you and we support you. And we're going to close out with one of our media partners, Insurance Associates of Atlanta. We're going to play that commercial, leaving out. And also, this show has been actually supported and sponsored by Solid Rock Solutions Group. Make sure you contact them today at 404-642-0555. If you have any full freight trucking or logistical questions or desires to get some management support.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network. Insurance Associates Atlanta, formerly Mathis Insurance Services, is an independent agency offering personal, commercial, life, and health insurance products to meet the needs of your business and your family. We specialize in helping you protect all of your assets, whether you're purchasing insurance for the first time or searching for better products at a better price. Feel free to contact us at 770-483-0310. We're conveniently located at 1030 Remington Drive in Conyers, Georgia. Visit us online at insurance-iaa.com. You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network. On a tight budget? Find local savings on loudmouth.com. Find great coupon deals in your area of local restaurants.
Sunny and Jazzy of Loudmouth TV is taking off with a brand new show, Off the Market, with its first season within the beautiful state of Hawaii, featuring some of the most sought-after areas of beachfront and inner island properties on the island of Maui and Oahu. Tune in to each episode with host Jazzy Jones-Smith as she talks to featured real estate agents as they showcase their open house listings to private homeowner tours where you just might find a house that you may want to take off the market. You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.